Welcome, everybody, to Circle Back to You. I'm your host, Jason Wilson. Today, we are joined by Caleb Nelson, owner of Naked Sunday. Today, we're going to talk about three pillars of high performance women.
Thank you, brother. Happy to be back hanging with you and having a good time. Let's do it. So,
Yes.
what I've noticed, I've coached a lot of different women on a lot of different things. My primary demographic has been like the super mom in many ways. They have a family, they have a business, they're crushing it. They have a beautiful marriage, they have a beautiful family, beautiful kids, and they tend to also struggle with putting themselves on the back burner because they're so good at taking care of everybody else. And go figure, in my life, my career especially started in specifically just in fitness. I started to realize, well, fitness and health and well-being was the last thing for themselves that they put on their calendar. So as time went on, and I've coached college athletes at a high level, specifically, I was a strength and conditioning coach for a D2 women's soccer team. They're a perennial powerhouse over at St. Rose. Um, and and then my career adapted as I started to work with all these high performing entrepreneurial women or these executive women who are climbing the professional ranks and kicking ass and taking names, basically. So what I noticed is that when they would come to me, they were suffering from burnout. They were so spent, spreading themselves thin. And piece by piece, what we would focus on when I've developed these three different pillars for these high performing women, these were the three things that they needed in order to not only reclaim their energy, get back and focused and feel like they have that work life balance and feel connected in their relationships and all these things, but to get back into just crushing it, not just to feel good, but to go from that good to great and tap into their full potential. So that's what we're going to focus on today. We're going to talk about the three pillars of high performance women. So let's start with number one. Number one, I kind of already alluded to it, but it's physical fitness. Pillar one is physical fitness. This is about strengthening and nourishing your body in a way that's going to allow you to be mentally clear, mentally focused, and then, of course, feel good in your body. Because if you got those nagging injuries, yeah, anybody ever tweak their back and then you're just wandering around your day while you're doing every single thing? Anybody's ever hurt their back? Believe you me, I've done it several times doing dumb things to my body. You go, wow, I can't believe I use my back in so many different things. We want to make sure your body is feeling good, you're nourished so you have the energy to do all the great things you need to do and be present in your life, but also just feel good in your body and feel good in your mind at the same time. Underneath this physical fitness pillar, there's three main elements. There's recovery, there's energy, which is really your nutrition, and then there's movement. So under recovery, a lot of time we focus on sleep, some mobility, pouring back into yourself. And I have a little saying that says, it's not how hard you train, it's how well you recover. Because you might go, when you go to the gym, you beat yourself up, you actually break down the muscle. It's during the sleep and that rest time that we build it back up. And we need that so that we can come back and do things tomorrow, which leads to energy. When I talked about nutrition, you need the appropriate amount of nutrients in your body, and you need to be hydrating yourself appropriately to fuel that recovery. Because if you don't have the building blocks to build that muscle back up, aside from just the space, all you have is empty space without the tools to put it together. And then finally, what most people think of when they're getting fit, when we think of the word fitness, we're thinking about the workouts and all those types of things. But I like to focus on keeping it simple and keeping it focused. Simple things like walking and appropriate resistance training. You do not need to destroy yourself in the gym. And in fact, you spending 3 hours in the gym is not only unnecessary, but it might even be irresponsible because you're just destroying yourself in a way that doesn't actually align with the goals and the things that you need to be doing in your life. Plus, you need to be efficient. You got a family and you got a business to run and crush at life. So that rounds out pillar number one. That's physical fitness. Okay, so again, remember underneath that, you want to be focusing on your recovery, your energy, and your movement, which then leads us to our mental fitness. Mental fitness is all about your attention and your focus. Where is your mind going? If your focus is on the appropriate things and you've removed the distractions, all you have is a focus and to be present in the current moment on the thing that matters most. Where people get sidetracked, where these high performing women get sidetracked, is the distractions, the notifications on their phone, the random cries in the other room, employees who can't solve their own problems, things of that nature. You're just getting bombarded when you're just trying to focus on the thing that you do best and that fills your cup. So this comes down to appropriate scheduling, and I talk a lot about creating your ideal schedule that creates not only a focused time for when you get your things done, but also that time to recover and transition your energy, so you're not running and rushing from one thing to the next and always feeling busy. Busy is the enemy. Productive is the goal. So where I focus on this, I call this the nexus of happiness. It's three main elements that we want to plug into your schedule, that we want to prioritize. One is self-care. We talked a little bit about some of just the physical fitness stuff, but sometimes you need a little bit more things like journaling or prayer or meditation, more of that spiritual growth. We'll talk a little more about that in a second. Maybe it's even some creative works, like maybe you're a painter, or you like to draw, or you like to read, what have you. We want to get some self-care time in there. Number two is your quality connections. This is about nurturing the appropriate, most important relationships in your life. A lot of time people waste time with acquaintances that are not going the same direction with you. It's not that they're bad people, it's just that it might not be aligned with you. Making sure that you're putting time on your schedule for the people and the things that matter most in your personal life are incredibly important. Not least of which your marriage. That's usually a great place to start, because you can be successful in all those areas and still have a successful marriage. People have pitched the wrong idea there, and far be it for me to say, actually, one of the biggest fears people have going down this path is they're worried that the next step on their success journey is that they're going to lose that love and connection at home. And then finally, number three in these three elements under mental fitness is your meaningful work. I just mentioned before that busy is the enemy. Productivity is what we're looking for. Meaningful work is the stuff that is aligned with your purpose and your vision and your goals. You could be working really hard on a task, but that if that has nothing to do with the thing that's actually going to produce the result, go figure. You just did a lot of work to feel exhausted and feel like you're right in the same spot. So we need to make sure that we're focused and intentional about how we're curating our time and creating our schedules, leaving space for, well, the unknown. Because guess what? Accidents and emergencies do in fact happen. So we need to make sure we have that. So we've already knocked down two. We've got our physical fitness, we got our mental fitness. Now it's time to roll into one of the hardest ones to grapple with. And this is our spiritual fitness. And this is especially where my high performers really need to focus. This is about looking further into the future and really asking yourself who you are as a person. Your spiritual fitness is all about cultivating that inner relationship, as well as a relationship with things that are beyond you, something bigger than yourself. We can call it religion, we can call it spirituality, we can call it faith, we can call it the exploration of the self. But underneath this, we're talking about your ethics, your purpose, and things of that nature. So we have three main elements that I focus on here. We have our core values. Your core values are incredibly important because this becomes the means by which you start to set your boundaries. If things don't fit within your core values, you cut it out of your life because it's actually a distraction. Whether it's people that don't align, whether it's activities that don't align, that don't fuel your cup, those are things that we need to make sure we keep it out. So it's almost like a machete as you're chopping through the wilderness, as you're exploring your fantasy world, your excitement world. You need to chop some things out so you can clear a path for not only yourself, but everybody you're leading. And the next two are your mission and your vision. This is your goal, your future vision of what your kind of like your ideal place. If you think of that vacation, where is that vacation, that ideal land off in the future? What is that goal that you can vision in your mind? Everybody talks about vision boards and things of that nature. You can picture it and you can see it and use that visualization. That's incredibly important, and you want to get crystal clear on that. But also within this mission and vision, this is the why. Why are you doing this? What is the deeper driver in that? And the great quote, as it goes, I believe it's Viktor Frankl: "He who has strong enough of a why can bear anyhow." Well, it's not just a he, it's a she as well. Like, you need your own vision and your own why as to where you're going, because when things get tough, and they will, it's coming, it's happening, it's that thing that so long as it's still in alignment with what you truly care about and you know exactly why you care about it, you will find a way to get through that. You will endure. And that you see that happen with, but a lot of parents do things simply because it's for their kids. That deep, beautiful driver of a family member that you love and adore. Those are the things that really pull us together. But if we could start thinking about things like legacy and what are you leaving behind, and the modeling you're doing for your children. I see plenty of my moms, their big focus is I know my daughter is looking at me and I want to leave a better example for the future than my parents left for me, so that my daughter can be even more successful than I. My wife and I talk about that right now. What is the legacy we're leaving behind? That's what these couple elements here, painting the vision not only for yourself, but also for what you're leaving behind in the future. So summing up those three elements of spiritual fitness is defining those core values and then your vision and your mission statements so you can be very clear on where you're going. And that rounds out those three pillars. So we have our physical fitness, we have our mental fitness, and then we have our spiritual fitness. If you're missing one of those three things, you'll get somewhere. You can be good, but you're missing those three. If you're missing any of those three elements, you can't be great and you can't sustain it. You will eventually hit a roadblock that you're not going to be able to overcome until you stop and you really reevaluate and you clarify those three things and then organize your life, your lifestyle around that. Not just your health, not just your business, not just your relationships, all three of those things. We have to take a holistic look at that to be able to create the abundant success that you deserve in your life. So there you have it, ladies. 3 pillars of high performing women.